Okay, we are live, and we're hanging out with Jim Brown. Jim, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing great, Steve. It's great to talk to you and all your listeners and viewers out in Bayou Buzzland. And today is Wednesday when we're doing this. It's a busy day for me. I post a column today and do a variety of things midweek so I can pace myself on the weekends. So I've had a full day and still got a ways to go. It's a real treat to join you and all your viewers on a hangout here on Bayou Buzz.
Jim, thank you so much. Why don't you give us a peek view of your column for this week?
Well, it's a real treat for me because what happened, I started writing columns probably 12 years ago, Steve, about Louisiana issues. I was doing a radio show at WRNO down in New Orleans. A lot of New Orleans area focuses, which is where a lot of your viewers come from. And I did that for about 3 years. Then I had the great opportunity of doing a national show. So my show is broadcast in New Orleans and Baton Rouge on about 8 markets throughout Louisiana, but I'm also on several hundred markets all over America. So it's really enjoyable for me to talk about Louisiana issues in the bigger picture. I don't just zero in on maybe one particular mayor's race or councilman's race or one issue, but I talk about bigger picture issues about the state of Louisiana. But I'm talking to listeners in New York City. I've got one of the largest stations in New York City, San Francisco, Kansas City, and I get some interesting feedback. They all love New Orleans, of course. Everybody's been to New Orleans, but they say, you know, I'm learning more about your state. After that Voting Rights Act Supreme Court decision, a lot of columnists said, you know, the South down there, you got to watch them. It's kind of the second Reconstruction. And they didn't know that much about us. And I said, you know, we're more than just banjos and bubbas down here.
Oh, come on.
Then
Really?
I got thinking, I play the banjo, and my doctor's name is Bubba. So maybe we are banjos and Bubbas, and you know what?
There it is.
I love it. So I'm doing the radio show, writing a column that appears on Bayou Buzz, and again on newspapers throughout the country. So I've got a great gig going on right now, and again, it's a lot of fun to do this, Steve.
And so the column this week is going to be about Bubba and banjos, or?
It is, and it'll be up on Bayou Buzz tomorrow. What I did was, the Washington Post did a story about how if you're going to build a fence in this country, you ought to build it from Norfolk, Virginia to Dallas, Texas, because the South is so regressive, was their commentary. Wages are lower, and a little bitterness because an awful lot of the major plants in this country seem to be coming to the South. I said, well, let's talk about the quality of life. Let's talk about music. I listed all the great musicians out of New Orleans and Louisiana. Let's talk about the food. You can get better food here than in New York or anywhere at about half the price. Let's talk about the athletes, more NFL football players from Louisiana than any state in the country. LSU football. I went on and on and on about artists, and that's all in the column. And the point I was making was, look, we don't want to fight the Civil War over again, but let's appreciate, from your point of view, what we're doing down here. We're all in this together, and let's try to make it work. We'll deal with Paula Deen down here, and you guys get off our backs about being kind of flaky and building those walls. So that's what the column's about, and I hope a lot of your listeners on the Hangout will check it out on Bayou Buzz.